Okay, hi everyone, welcome back, and in this video we are going to check out XDC's price chart, and I'm gonna say much more bullish than before. Why is that? Because if you remember in the previous video about XDC, we were right around this area and I was saying this can be a corrective movement down, potentially in form of an ABC zigzag. And if you want to be bullish in like very short term, you need to see a relatively strong move up in order to at least take the height of our B leg. And at that point we can say, well, okay, this move up is going to continue, and that I'm gonna say pretty much played out. Now, question, why am I now much more bullish than before? Because in this phase up, I think we can all agree on the fact that we can identify a beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave impulsive structure on the upside, which on a higher degree, it's actually into this wave 5 right in here. And well, you probably know what I'm about to say. If you want to say we're going to have our final low around this area, let's say this is like a very important support, then okay, off of the lowest low, you need to be able to find a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this, my friends, is exactly what is happening on XDC's price chart. And from my point of view, this is kind of the ultimate bullish sign, indicating the low, the final one, is already in. That is why I am now much more bullish than before. Now, question, can we say our move up is going to end right in here or maybe a bit higher, and then we're going to have a relatively deep move on the downside? The answer is yes, and here is how I can argue that. If you really want to say our move up soon is going to come to an end, I think you can say this is ABC down into A, B, C on the upside into wave B, ABC down into wave C, ABC up into D, and this can be our final ABC on the downside into our E leg. We are having basically a triangle to about this point into our wave 4, and this can be, well, 5 up into 1, correction for wave 2, excuse me, let's just draw it again, sorry, okay, big move up into wave 3, either to about here or here, not important, correction for 4, another move on the upside into wave 5. Is this scenario possible? The answer is yes. Do I like this thing? The answer is actually no. And I'm going to now make my argument for why I think this move up can actually continue for quite a bit. You see, sure, this can be an A, B, C, D, E, but I think we can all agree that this D and E leg are way too small when you compare them to this, for example, C, B, and this huge A leg. And that is a very important sign, suggesting maybe we're not going to have in here a triangle structure. Sure, triangles are very common into wave 4, but I do not believe in this specific example we are having a triangle. I am going to argue more likely than not this ABC was actually into our wave 4, and the end of our correction was right in here about, let's say, 7.3 cents. Also, here is another very important reason to believe our move up is not over in XDC. Sure, there is a possibility that this move up might be in form of a 5-wave impulsive structure. However, in my primary scenario, that is not the case. I'm gonna say a correction in XDC started from this point, and the end of it most likely is going to be right in here. And yes, I think this can be either an ABC zigzag or maybe a WXY in form of a flattened zigzag. And if I just go on 15-minute time frame, okay, this is basically the real reason for why I believe the end of our wave 4 is in here. What do we have off of the lowest low? I think a beautiful 1, 2, 3 correction for 4, probably a running flat, another move on the upside into wave 5. Now, this is the key, pay attention. On a higher degree, I believe in XDC we are having 5 wave up into a wave 1, correction probably to about this point into wave 2, this big move on the upside, which might continue for another 12 to even 24 hours, is going to be into a wave 3. And what's going to happen next? We're going to have, I'm going to say yes, probably a relatively shallow and choppy move on the downside into our wave 4. And then what are you going to see if this scenario is in play? Most likely another move up into wave 5. For now, I'm considering this possibility as my primary case in XDC, suggesting this move on the upside, at least for now, is not going to come to an end. Sure, we may get some moves down, but in my primary case, again, those moves are just going to be corrective movements, and after it's over, we can expect a continuation of our move up, and then when we get this thing, well, okay, at that point, we are going to check the possibility of having a relatively strong and deep move on the downside. But for now, since we're not there yet, let's not talk about that kind of possibility. Let's just now at least focus on this correction and then another move on the upside. And when we get here, we're going to make new updates and see where are we going to go from there. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in XDC's price chart. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.